Oh yeah, what was I talking about? So part of the reason I don't get a GPS is that first of all, I don't have enough room to cram things into the car. You know, sometimes when I go out to the store and I see something I want to buy, one of the considerations I have to make is how much space it takes up in my car, and there are a lot of things I want to keep in the car, especially electronic stuff. Like I write computer games and I love photography, and GPS just doesn't get a high priority because I know where my workplace is, I know where all the places I frequent are, and the long distance trips, when I do get lost, I tend to enjoy the experience of getting lost and seeing something I've never seen before. You know, when I'm driving through Montana or Wyoming on my way to see my family, if I get lost, I have a tendency to mingle with people there and enjoy new experiences. So it doesn't seem to bother me that much until the only problem is that I get in so much trouble when I get lost. See, when I'm driving really slowly, it attracts a lot of attention, and I've gotten pulled over a few times, and I've never gotten a ticket over that, but it's always very nerve-wracking, because there are a lot of things in my car. You know, when somebody realizes that I live in my car, and they think I'm homeless, I don't consider myself homeless, but that's what some people would use to describe it. And then they see that I have all this expensive gear, and I'm traveling, and I'm going on vacation. And, you know, they start to wonder what I do for a living. You know, am I dealing drugs, or am I stealing all this stuff? You know, it's nerve-wracking when the officer is asking these pointy questions of what's that in your car. You know, where'd you get that computer? What do you do? You know, what do you do for a living? Or why are you in Wyoming? You know, where are you going? You know, it just gets very nerve-wracking when that happens. And I swear I'm going to get a GPS next time, every time that's going on. But then he doesn't give me a ticket, and I'm very relieved that I forget about it. Because, you know, I have a tendency to get relieved and then forget about what happened until it happens again. And I don't like pointy questions. You know, sometimes part of the reason I haven't gotten into an accident is that I know if I get into an accident and the police respond, I'm going to have a very hard time explaining that I'm not, you know, high on drugs or just crazy. You know, people don't seem to understand that I'm not your typical car dweller. And unfortunately, a lot of my neighbors, you know, car dwellers, make a fool of everybody who lives in their car, even though some people do so responsibly. There's a little bit of a problem there. But I recently got a ticket, not over going slowly or anything, but I had gotten into some road rage. I have this problem where I get very emotionally attached to people on the road who respond to me, or people who honk their horn. I really despise how here in the Western world, people live their lives very quickly. And, you know, they get very impatient in traffic. I really despise it. And somebody had honked their horn at me, and I got out of the car to try to lecture that person about enjoying the spoils of life and the sceneries in life. And she didn't want anything to do with it. She swerved around me and almost hit me with her mirror. And anyway, I got a ticket over that, and I got it. I went to court and was able to get a ticket deferral and do some community service, so it's all good. But I get very emotional with my driving sometimes. So, and what else have I done? One of my big problems, I don't daydream while I drive anymore, but one of my big problems is that I have a hard time of keeping my eyes off of something fascinating on the highway. You know, if there's an accident on the side of the road, what else have I done this with? If I see something on the side of the road, sometimes there's a girl in the car next to me, or I look in the sky and I see planets, and I just have a hard time keeping my eyes on it. It's not like I really need to look there, but my eyes just want to wander in that direction. I've had a few close calls as a result of that. Oh, one of the big problems I have is indecisiveness. Whether I want to go to A or B, and I can't decide, and I'm changing lanes and making last-minute turns. So I live in my car, but there are a few places I like to hang out after work. There's a few Starbucks, there's Whole Foods, and at one time I had a girlfriend, and sometimes I would go to her apartment. and I would get to the intersection where I had to decide which direction I need to go, and I just can't make a decision. And I've had a few close calls doing that, and I had people honk their horns at me, obviously, and just can't decide. The other problem is that after work, I have a decision on which route to take to the Starbucks I like to hang out. There's a highway, but depending on the time of day, I might want to take a side street, and I can't decide sometimes. That's a big problem for me. So the rubbernecking and the indecision are the big ones for me, the unhappiness with that people don't like to take their lives slowly, that gets at me at times. Not just with driving, but sometimes at my job. I see people who don't slow down to enjoy the little spoils of life, and it just gets on me when I should be enjoying my own life instead of wondering how other people are enjoying their lives. It's a little bit of a sin for me. But anyways, I've gone 2 circles around the world without an accident, not even a fender bender. And my next milestone, I want to go to the moon without an accident. It's about 238,000 miles. I'll be making videos roughly every circle around the world until I get there. So my famous quote is, I tell people that I want to go to the moon without an accident, not because it is easy, but because it is hard. Thanks for watching.